Politics as usual. I took my Frito to...
Anyways, welcome back. Politics as usual, episode 6, right? It's bad.
Yeah,
I'm bad.
yeah.
I'm this bad with episodes.
We'll learn eventually.
when we're just starting, but it's episode 6. This isn't the segment we do every week, but I guess we had some semi-breaking news. He just told me, I don't know nothing about it. But I guess we'll start off with this week in politics. We should add like some sound effects.
This week in politics. Politics.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'll throw your voice in the mix and add like a little effect to it.
Yeah, you know, a little gated reverb effect, something like that. But yeah, you break it down. I've been asleep all week.
Basically, it was Mueller's suggestion that Cohen, you know, for his participation not face jail time, but the courts was like, nah, he should face substantial time for what he did. And what came out today is it goes back to 2015 where it names Trump by name and basically, you know, said that they were colluding as far back to 2015.
Oh, it's facing.
Yeah, it's facing.
Yeah. Go get the camera. Yeah.
Hey, you come. Hey, if you want, you come get the camera.
No, I'm about to go down the street. Oh,
Yeah, come on. You want some? You got some cups? Yeah.
just a little. Just a little. What y'all doing? We podcast.
Yeah, doing our little web show / podcast.
See, who gave y'all that idea?
Well, we had it.
Well,
T wanted to like executive produce, but he ain't done nothing for it except
You
be
know
here
what,
when
man?
we
I
leave.
should have got me a patent, whatever. I told T. I said, T, we need to do something at the shop. Get some dudes come up here. We talk about some general stuff, you know. Talk about everything.
yeah.
You know.
That's what we
it's
do,
like,
yeah.
like our 7th time doing this. We do this every other Friday.
For real?
Yeah.
Man,
You
T
welcome,
a jerk, man.
You're welcome to come aboard.
I got some ice. No, I don't need no ice.
We ain't got no we got some.
No, I'm supposed to be going down there to go drink. Anyway. I'm
Yeah, go on pregame.
Yeah. Reed,
Yo,
why you do me like that, man?
man, I wasn't trying to be like that. Them kids had me shook. So
It's cool. I went to the comedy show just like this. I was looking rough, but I made it through the storm. It was so fun. I feel like I was being low key, man. Like I'm sitting up there, I got my scarf on, I'm walking through there, but like when I see somebody, I'm like, man,
I'm like, no,
I'm just like how Spice Adams was. He was talking how people be like before they get a haircut. Hey man, you know. I was like, man, I'm going crazy. And lucky for me, I got somebody I'm kicking it with anyway. So she's like, baby, you're okay. Well, I guess as long as she have it, then I guess
she cool with it. Yeah.
How long she good? You good?
Man, I was hurt. I was hurt, bro. Oh,
Why you got this hat on?
man,
curly head dude talking.
and that's where it is. Lucky for me, I got a good grade of hair. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But this right here, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it a hair. She's like, it's fine. I was like, you sure? She's like, yeah. But it wasn't as bad like on the sides and stuff.
Right.
I was like, man.
Hey,
Huh?
don't nobody care, man.
Man.
You gotta clean hair, man.
So this is one of the beauties of recording in a barbershop is you get colorful people to come in
Oh.
and talk.
Yeah, because it's not like we follow a script and anything.
Yeah.
We want it like this, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we on that now?
Yeah, we're recording live right now. Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Well, I wouldn't say live, but we actually recording.
we're
Yeah.
recording right now.
Yeah. This.
Oh, man.
And you good, man. You good. This part of the magic.
Jojo came in.
I'm telling all my secrets, man. They ain't gonna. Oh, Lord.
But we do this every other Friday. So
Yeah.
Okay.
we
What that M stand for? Mascot? Man, thank you, man.
no.
Oh, bitch. It should have been mascot.
Should have. Yeah. It would be better, probably. Yeah.
All right, Ron.
I'm just saying, man.
We ain't even got to the sports segment of the show yet.
just-
You
all right.
already over here talking trash.
I'm just saying, man.
I'm probably not gonna be in here by the time y'all talk about the sports, but people need to understand that we're here in Birmingham, and we don't have a lot of people supporting HBCU, which is right up the street, Miles College. Miles just won their, man, this probably our third, or yeah, like our second or third SIAC championship, man. And people don't even.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Don't talk
Because
about it.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. That's
we
pretty
just,
terrible.
We just won the championship against
Yeah, we celebrate
Albany
them.
State.
We celebrate them. I mean, I was glad to see people celebrating UAB winning the conference championship.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's
Yeah.
something that
That's
people
a big
celebrate.
deal.
That people
Especially
actually.
after
Yeah.
what happened.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
They was going what about
2 years?
About 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years.
And then come right.
Like
back.
they basically just restarted the team.
Dude, man, that's like the birth of Ramsey football team. Hey, because Ramsey came out of nowhere. They like, hold on, they been in the championship game.
Yep.
Ramsey, boy, they.
But yeah, congratulations to Miles. Yeah, we should be celebrating Miles.
Kid from my hometown plays linebacker for Miles.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's
Yeah.
up.
Hardy. Yeah. I think he might be like, I think he's like number 34, 30 something. But anyway, he's from Demopolis. He Anthony Hardy. Yeah, Anthony Hardy.
So you from Demopolis?
Yeah, I'm from
You
Demopolis,
D-Mock.
Oh, what you know about D-Muck?
Man, hey, I got in trouble in D-Mo.
Yeah. It's easy to get in trouble there. It's a small town, but it's very easy to get in
That
trouble.
long strip.
Yeah. It's just one highway.
Yeah, man.
This got a little sweetness in it.
What is it?
I don't know, but it's
Four
good.
roses.
All
bro.
roses, yeah.
It don't matter where it is. It got a flower on it.
I've been on a bourbon kick lately, so I've been going to the liquor store
That's
and
what
trying
this is,
different.
bourbon?
Yeah, just trying
Yeah.
different bourbons, seeing what I like.
Man, I actually went to middle school in Demopolis for about 1 year.
Demopolis.
Yep.
No, West Alabama.
Yeah, it's in the west, yeah.
Yeah, West Alabama.
Mario County, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, cause we did a step show there. Yeah, we did a step show there.
Yeah, probably at the Theo Ratliff Center.
It seemed like it was like a gym. It seemed like that been some years.
Theo Ratliff from the
Yeah.
I ain't know that.
Theophilus from Demopolis, yeah.
I ain't know that.
Yeah. Defensive player of the year.
You speak to me.
You know, the only person I know from Demopolis is you.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, this is why we recorded the barbershop, because you can have wonderfully unscripted moments where people come in and drop some knowledge on you that Miles just won a conference championship.
Yeah, shout out to
Nobody
Miles,
said
yeah.
anything about it, so shout out to Miles. But yeah, so this week in politics.
Basically,
Yeah, Trump got named.
yeah.
He was
And
named.
then, like, we haven't even gotten anything on Manafort and Flynn yet, so
Yeah.
it's coming.
Right.
That's all we
I
want.
did see Roger Stone tried to plead.
Oh
the
yeah,
fifth,
he tried to plead the fifth, but
But like, I don't know that you can plead the fifth on this.
you can't. Like, nah.
Like, I don't know that you can do that. But
So,
I don't
yeah.
know. Stuff's moving. Mueller hadn't been fired yet, which I thought
Like we
was
said on
extraordinary.
the first segment of Politics as Usual, was like Stone would be next, but it's definitely Junior next. Junior is up next. So yeah.
Oh yeah, they finna get
Eric and Junior are up next.
Oh yeah, they finna. It was like I said. I think we'll find out that Trump don't really give a shit about either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna be like, hey, let him rock. he definitely finna let him rock.
So what? Oh yeah, let's say you were president and you died. Would you want the Infinity War trailer to get pushed back? I mean, the Avengers trailer.
No.
Exactly. Okay.
No.
I just want to make sure.
Well, we don't. I mean, are we gonna put this all in one episode?
I mean, no, we're not. I just wanted to ask that question because if I'm president, don't.
Hey, but yo, hey, I really want y'all.
To
Folks.
stop inviting George Bush to the cookout.
Right. All right, man. You have a good one.
All right.
Like, we got to stop acting like because Michelle Obama is cordial with George Bush, and that her and George Bush be exchanging candies, that George Bush is suddenly somehow forgiven for all the bullshit he did while he was in office. Like, let's stop that.
Yeah, all the war crimes and.
Yeah, war crimes, policies that were unfriendly to people of our background. Like, let's stop acting like George Bush was some kind of grand, old, just gleeful idiot who didn't do anything wrong. Like, yeah, the best thing for George Bush's legacy has probably been the election of Donald Trump. But we gotta stop
Because
acting
he
like.
definitely was the worst president of my lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. He was
Trump.
easily the worst president, the worst modern president, previous to Trump's election.
From the sideline passing. I'm good. I ain't gonna get that much.
Have a good one.
See you later, no kid.
But yeah, we gotta stop acting like that because.
That's why
And
like,
this happened. What was it we were talking about? Oh, the Sam Whiteout thing.
Oh yeah.
When the white capper the kappa that was known for doing a little shimmy, and the women swooned all over dude like he was just that dude.
Hey man, did you see when they put his picture like black and white and it was right?
It said he stopped was stopping folks from. I saw one that said he was stopping black kids from entering the university, and another one that said that he was out there, that was Bernie Sanders shimmying during the march with Dr. King. But look, man, we had this issue, and I pointed this out when it happened. I almost instantly regret it because I had a bunch of idiots in my mentions, but people were talking about who was to blame for Sam Whiteout's ascension because he wrote some terrible article for the Harvard News.
Okay. I was like, what? But yeah.
We were having this discussion about who was responsible for his ascension because there were a lot of, let's be frank, there were a lot of black women pumping dude up. No, they was pumping dude up because he was shitty. And then you had the women fighting back saying, well, he wouldn't be in this position if black people hadn't let him into a fraternity. And my retort to that was, how many white people are in black fraternities or sororities that don't have that footing? Yes, we can say that they shouldn't have let him in, but I don't think that you can just deny him on the basis of color. That would be wrong. And I'm fairly militant about these things. That would be wrong. He got the popularity from these women pumping him up, and of course
you shouldn't speak out of turn.
Right.
Like that's like me like writing a paper on like.
I read you one. Bam, y'all be good.
All right, that's like me writing a paper on like white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. I don't. That's not my life.
Right, and my whole thing what it was, yes, the person who gave him the platform to write on that was a black dude. There were a lot of black dudes that were rushing to be next to him, but they rushed to be next to him because he was garnered this popularity by black women. And I pointed out during that same discussion, we did the same thing with Nikki Heaton. I don't know if people remember who Nikki Heaton is.
I definitely do.
Nikki Heaton.
I definitely do.
Nikki Heaton.
I definitely remember.
Hey, I'm gonna do a better job about sending y'all the episodes when we do these because we done shot about 6 of them and I'm terrible.
I thought the whole time you were sending them.
Nah, that's my fault. I got it.
Hey, when you send me, I'm gonna keep posting them.
The whole time I thought he was sending
we got them all on the YouTube page, so all 6 of them are up. So
You know this is show.
Oh.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's my fault.
No, Doc. I love it. And I'm gonna post it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You said
I'm gonna stay on AJ now. Make sure you do it. This whole time I thought he was doing it.
That's my fault.
Like you seeing my reaction now because this entire time I thought he was posting the episode.
Yeah, I know.
Because I geotagged the YouTube videos to Trim Grooming Lounge, so y'all can watch the videos and come here. But I thought AJ was posting them.
Yeah, I know. That's my fault. So
we all mess up.
But people like Nikki Heaton is this mediocre pop singer who happens to be white. She garnered fame by playing trap songs on her guitar, singing Chief Sosa,
Abby Yams.
Yeah. But she's a mediocre talent.
She was mediocre.
Super mediocre. You know how she got famous? Black Twitter dudes with a lot of followers pumping her up. They got her a record deal. That could have easily went to someone that was talented and black to get the same record deal, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So we as black people have this obsession with pumping up mediocre white people. We do it all the time. The women did it with Sam Trump. They got mad and claimed that they didn't. But y'all did.
They did.
Let's face it. And black men have done it numerous times over the years. What was that ludicrous line? I'm the new phenomenon, like white women with ass.
Because I'm not going.
T.I. did it with Iggy.
I'm not going to embarrass. I got words about the Iggy thing, but we can talk about that later. But anyway, I'm not going to embarrass her and call her out. But I sent her that poorly written article, a friend of mine, and she's like, oh, I don't know what this is, but he fine though. So.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Sam Trump is not Sam Trump. Sam Whiteout is nobody special. Because he is a white dude shimmy that happened to be a
Not
Catholic.
only was that such a it was so poorly written. Like
it was terrible. Like, it was diarrhea of the mouth.
Yeah.
In word form, that's all it was. It was nothing.
Like I'm glad that I think her name is like Eve Ewing. Shout out to Ironheart. She's writing Ironheart now. She was just like, what is this bullshit? This is the most poorly written.
And that's my beef with it is we have this obsession, and this will be a topic that we can segue to. But we as black people have this obsession with being next to whiteness. Kanye West, first and foremost, is a prime example of that, right? Like, we'll sit here and preach all this black unity, black beat, and then we'll sell our soul for Grammy noms. But we won't show up.
Rod put up a Facebook status the other day that said something. He was like, "It's so easy to get over on black people because
you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is something." Yeah, he posted that on Twitter earlier. Shout out to Rod. All you have to do is something, and you can. And he said the follow up to that was find any person doing something for black people, and you'll find people defending them when you detract from what they're saying, and they'll say at least they're doing something.
Like, oh, at least Donald Trump freed one black woman.
At least they're doing something. Like, we have to stop that. We have this obsession with being next to whiteness and white mediocrity for whatever.
Oh yeah, that lighting is much better. Thank you.
We will sell our soul to get next to white people. So that doubles back to George Bush. George Bush was not a friend of black people. George Bush supported Kavanaugh. He was pumping his weight behind Kavanaugh.
And that's why.
But because he gave Michelle Obama some candy, he's supposed to be cool. And there were screenshots of people talking about, yeah, George Bush can come to the cookout. Stop inviting people to the cookout. That's your problem.
That's why I meet, fake film critic Ryan here. But that's why I'm not interested in that Vice movie that's coming out. Because I'm currently making my movies of the year list, but I don't want to see a romanticized account of George Bush and everything that happened under his administration because.
The worst recession of our life. Like, the reason millennials can't make money is because of this idiot. Part of the reason.
He's the cause of Islamophobia, basically. Like, we had a colored chart that's saying okay, when we get to red, the Muslims are coming. Basically, that's what it says.
And the other part of that is, if you want to set the stage for what made Donald Trump possible, it's George Bush's actions post 9/11.
Yeah, it's the Bush administration.
The reason why he has all this power is because they use fear to basically boost the executive branch to levels it should have never been at.
Right.
And to use fear to take away people's freedoms. What's that quote by Benjamin Franklin? Those who would trade liberty for freedom deserve neither. Or those who would trade liberty for security deserve neither. And that quote was pumped out a million times, most notably in V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I say all that to say, stop acting like every time a white person is nice to a black person, or as Huey Freeman, my younger cartoon self, stated, white people don't deserve credit for treating people of color like human beings.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say on that, because I'm tired of y'all doing that.
Yeah, like Stokely Carmichael said, every law implemented on the behalf of civil rights is for white people, not black people, because we know we're human beings. It's for you, because we have to tell you that you're human beings. So.
Or what did Malcolm X say? If you stab me in the back and pull the blade out 6 inches, that's not progress?
Yeah.
Pulling the blade all the way out is not progress. Healing the wound is progress.
Right.
Because the blade shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Right.
We're at the point now where we're just pulling the knife out. And I guess we can segue that to, I don't want to get too deep into this because, in my opinion, it's become a whole shit show. But since we're talking about politics, the shooting in Hoover.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And I have a short take on this. Because number one, I saw someone post something earlier regarding how everything going on, and it's a complex and nuanced issue. Like someone from the Barbershop podcast posted, and they said, "So hey, if we're gonna boycott in Hoover, shouldn't we have a list of black-owned businesses so it's not affecting people that are black trying to get money or people that have sales commissions to earn over there?" And I'm like, I agree. Yeah, boycotting the entire city of Hoover does nothing. My bigger beef is Hoover is a prime example of what happens when black people seek the good neighborhood.
Yeah, when you move into spaces that don't want you in the first place.
They don't want you there. They are trying their best to rezone the apartment so that little black and Hispanic children cannot go to school with their children. Mm-hmm. We fight so hard to get over there, and people are like, well, I ain't trying to boycott over there. I'm trying to go to the gallery, and I'm not mad at people who are against the current shenanigans going on regarding some people in their attempts to gain justice for the young man who was unjustly done down. I am mad at the people who state on a regular basis, black people got to do better, black people got to stick together, black people got to and then when somebody is like, hey, well, why don't we go do X, Y, Z? And they're like, well, nah, that's inconvenient for me because Dave and Buster's just opened up. Nah, that's inconvenient for me because I'm trying to go shopping over there for the gallery to get my kids Christmas presents. Like
I did watch a Wilder fight today, but what I'm saying is that's besides the point. But anyway,
hold
what I'm saying
on.
is,
But let me state this part. I'm not mad at people who don't want to put no skin in the game. I'm mad at people who talk it but don't want to walk it.
yeah.
That's where
what I
my
was about
beef
to say.
lies. If you want to talk all this black unity, but you living in the suburbs and you don't want to patronize black businesses and you don't want to boycott when some bullshit happens, you talking it, but you don't want to walk it. Those are who my barbs are at. Everybody ain't built for the struggle. Everybody. What irks me is the whole I'm not my grandparents. I'm not my your grandparents suffered through the Montgomery bus boycott. Your grandparents were down to sacrifice.
I've
shit.
always hated that because my grandma wasn't Selma, so you know.
Like
don't say I'm not my grandparents.
Like I went to
and put it on a T-shirt and
I
you're making a statement.
I went to my great aunt's funeral. Rest in peace, my aunt Jackie. In Ohio, a couple of weekends ago. And one of the things that I learned in that time frame was that my aunts were part of sit-ins. They were born in the 40s.
Yeah.
So they came in during Jim Crow. So they were part of sit-ins and stuff. So it's like, I wouldn't dare let anybody sit and call them soft or weak or act like they wasn't.
I've always
they was down to put skin in the game.
Yeah.
Our generation are the ones who don't want to do that.
Right.
We got the billionaires and millionaires who don't want to come put their money in the black banks, which would allow black banks to lend money into their community. Because I'll give you a quick lesson in finance. If you want to know how banks are funded or how banks are able to lend out money, a bank can lend out 1.5 times its deposit base. So let's say P. Diddy, Jay-Z, and Dr. Dre each put $100 million into a black bank. That would be $300 million. That bank would then be able to lend out $450 million based on that.
Basically, that's why interest accrues on your savings account because they're using your money. The cash is liquid. So basically,
exactly.
Yeah.
So when we sit and we talk about this black excellence, this only people ain't walking the talk. And those are the people who I got beef with. I got beef with the people who want to talk a good game, but since it's Christmas time, they don't want to boycott the Galleria. Not the people who legitimately want to know, okay,
Galleria
can we do
trash
this?
anyway, so.
It is, but not people who want to know, can we do this strategic, but the people who like, oh, the schools ain't good enough here, so I'm going to go move out to Hoover where they don't want you in. Where they're going to put your kid in the poorest performing schools with the teachers that have the lowest amount of tenure and highest turnover rate. They're going to put your kids over there. They don't want you in with their kids at the good schools. They're going to zone the apartments to go to this one particular school so your kids are getting the worst possible education they can, even though it's in the quote-unquote good school system. Y'all got to stop thinking that these people actually
I know I'm
give
being
a
the
rat's
cynical voice
ass
here.
about y'all.
I know I'm being
They don't want y'all.
Like I said, the cynical voice here, but that teacher at Hoover who said turn that nigga music off when the kid was playing Dear Mama by Tupac. How can you dislike Dear Mama? Like that's like the most pleasant song.
Because people don't
that's
want
like the most
y'all
pleasant song
there.
ever.
Somebody was tweeting the other day asking could black people gentrify, and she I sat and watched it. Right, and that was her point because a rich black person can move into a black neighborhood and almost do nothing to a property value. A rich black person can move into a white neighborhood and drop the property value. A poor white person can move into a neighborhood and raise the property value. By that very system, we are. So I say that to say, why do we fight and fuss to move to the suburbs where, by virtue of us going in and buying a house there, we are screwing ourselves? You would be better off buying a plot of land and building you a nice house because you know where there are black people and low property values, white people won't be far behind to buy that up.
Yeah.
And you can get more money for your buck there. We sit and we rush to try to play this game when the game ain't built for us and the rules aren't made for us, and we should be trying to outsmart them, but we don't want to do that. And I understand there are people out here who have made their money and they feel like, look, I'm not about to sacrifice what I got to help y'all. And that's cool.
Yeah.
Just don't talk it.
Yeah, that's a different thing entirely.
Too many of y'all are talking it but don't want to walk it. Too many of y'all are laughing at what folks are trying to do, and even if you think what they doing is misguided, where are you at? Where are you? What are you doing? Why aren't you helping? Why aren't you coming up with a better idea? Why aren't you out here trying to impart some knowledge? But y'all don't want to do that because y'all don't want to lose your jobs. You don't want to be caught on camera. You don't want to lose that nice cushy $50,000 a year job you got. That's cool, but stop talking about it. Shut up. That's what I just want people to do. I want people to shut up. You either about it or you not. If you about it, get out there and do something. If you're not, shut up. Simple as that. Use your knowledge to impart some wisdom. Move to a black neighborhood and pay taxes there. You'd be surprised at how far that can go. Show up to a city council meeting, vote.
Yeah.
But
Don't get me started on that.
walk the talk. Too many of y'all talking, and it's too much of this. I want to do it, but not when it's. You know better than the white moderates Dr. King wrote about in his letter from the Birmingham jail. You know better than them, because they the same ones that say I don't want you to protest during the football game. Football's supposed to be my escape from it.
Which is,
You just like them.
which is a lot.
Not right now. It's Christmas time. Not right now. If you here and you talking it, but you not walking it, I'm looking at you funny. I don't live here.
Neither do I, but you know.
I don't live here. I live in a black neighborhood though. I pay taxes in a black neighborhood. I vote. I impart knowledge to black people as far as finances and things like that. I use what I've learned to help others. I'm out here trying to do something. A lot of y'all just don't want to do nothing. Y'all just want to talk it, but y'all don't want to walk it. Because y'all want to go to Dave & Buster's, and that's cool. Go to Dave & Buster's, but shut the fuck up. Go ahead. You can come on camera if you want. You can come on camera if you want.
I stay behind the camera. I mean, I have no problem with it. It's just I have some other stuff going on. I don't need to be on the camera.
No problem. No problem.
I'm aware of some things that's about to take place next few days and next couple of weeks. But I want to ask you, how do you think you could address this issue, being that we don't have the variables are still there, but they aren't the same as in the 60s. And what I'm saying is, no one is stopping us from going. No one is stopping us from being. No one is stopping us from doing as it was with the 60s.
Right.
So it was easy to make generalizations because that was a common thread upon us all. But now that doesn't exist. It's the same beast, but expressed different. So now we have, how do you figure we can make the adjustments where we don't address it just in black and white terms, but we address it in other terms, because we have whites that are coming against us, we have blacks that are coming against us, we have whites that are with us, we have blacks that are with us. So we can't just make it black and white. So if you had to come up with a term, we have terms.
Yeah.
I would say right or wrong, and I think that's where that's where too many people are afraid to make the designation. Too many people want to humanize their opponents. It's like we can talk about this with
that's exactly what I say. I was like, how can we teach our kids right and wrong when you know, when you basically align yourself with a certain race, align yourself with a certain party, and you know they're doing wrong, but because to me it's right and wrong, not black and white.
It's like the Democrats versus Trump right now. There is no other side. There is no
other side, because when you say there's another
humanizing
side,
the Trump supporter.
When you say there's another
wrong.
side, you're
If
legitimizing
you
it.
Trump, you just did wrong.
You wrong.
We
Period.
In other words, you're saying we can't give you any room like we would give you room to just be a Republican.
No.
We understand that.
Right.
You're not conservative. You want to keep everything the same because you're satisfied with everything. You're making all the money. We can deal with that. You're a Republican. There's no justification for supporting Trump.
Exactly.
So that's
exactly not.
Exactly. And that to me is the instance here. If you are on the side of someone who shot a young man in the back while he was trying to usher others to safety, you are wrong. Period, point blank. There is no black or white in that. If that is what happened, if we are to believe that is what happened, and you are against people that are mobilizing for justice for that person, you are wrong. Now, you can be wrong in your pursuit of what's right, but you can't be right in your pursuit of defending what's wrong.
Yeah, like I say all the time, you can have a point, but you can still go about it the wrong way. Yeah.
What is it that, because see, you're close to what we're saying, and all of that is in what we're going to say. But what is it that makes a person that is wrong feel that they're right when it's a sensitive nature towards
stupidity?
Yeah.
No. And
don't call it that. That's
but see,
this
is why I have a beef with that, because I could go on a longer tangent about this, but we'll keep it to where it's at. There became an issue in this country, or the world in general, when we stopped calling people stupid, when we started making excuses for stupidity. When we started saying, oh, they're not stupid, they're this. That's not stupid. It's this. No. Sometimes
they're not wrong.
Sometimes stupid is stupid.
Yes.
So for the people out there, i.e. your poor rednecks who are out there voting against their very interests, they are stupid. For the people that want to sit and defend, I had a young lady I used to work, a young black lady I
When
used
you
to work.
finish, you have to define what stupid means.
I will. I had a young lady who I used to work with. She was on Facebook and said cops want to go home to their families too. That's stupid. That's not a difference of opinion. You are stupid for saying that. Because the difference between me and a cop is, if a cop shoots me, he gonna get 3 months of paid leave and he gonna find another job somewhere and go on about his life.
Yeah, go to Wichita, Kansas and get another
if
job.
I shoot a cop, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life.
At least you go into jail.
Or I'm gonna die.
Whether
But
you
they
run.
typically tend to capture those who shoot at them.
Yeah.
So there's a brief difference. Also, I didn't choose my skin color. They chose to put on a badge. So if you can equate what I was born with the profession that they chose to do and say they want to go home when they gonna go home every single time, you are stupid. So when I say stupid, I'm not talking about lack of intelligence. I'm talking about ignoring the facts of what's there. You are willfully ignorant. That to me is what I call stupid. So to me, you got to start painting this stuff. You got to start painting this stuff as it is. There are certain things that there's no wiggle room or gray areas in.
It's right or wrong, and as I've grown older, like there are certain things that I believe that I won't compromise on. Basically, like if you don't believe this, then that lets me know everything about your character, and I know where to place you. So we need to stop saying like, oh, okay, I can respect your opinion, because it's not a matter of opinion.
It's not a matter of opinion.
Because opinion, to me, an opinion is fact based.
An opinion is LeBron James the greatest basketball player ever. That's an opinion. It's
fact based.
It's a wrong opinion. But it's an opinion.
Well, yeah, because you could go through that and you could make a case for it. An opinion is fact based.
Right.
But me saying like, okay, like Mexicans are rapists. All Mexicans are rapists.
That's wrong. And that's the point where we've gotten to is and this to me is a left problem in general. It's a problem that the left has. It's a problem that Democrats have. It's a problem that liberal whites have. It's painting the other side as though they're wrong. It's like when people say, man, it seems like racism increased when Obama took off. No, it didn't. That was just happened to be the time the smartphones became available, so you got to see more of what people were thinking. It ain't increased. Black people can tell you this shit been going on and happening forever. We don't feel like racism is increased. We just feel like we see it more. It's white people that feel like racism is increased.
Yeah, shout out to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because she's shaking things up right now. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, you can still be liberal, but you can still, in your approach, be aggressive.
Right, and that's been my one issue with the Democrats, and we can spend all day talking about that. But I say all that to say, we started this off talking about black people's wanting of acceptance from white people. You can't have it both ways. You either want it for your people or you don't. And if you don't, that's fine, but shut up. That's my entire point in saying all this. If you don't want it for your people, then don't talk about wanting it for your people. Because if your idea of black excellence is living up at the country club, that ain't black excellence to me. That's not black excellence to me. I'm sorry, it ain't, and it never will be. But
Is there truly such a thing as a moderate white?
There's no such thing.
no,
There's no such thing.
That's what I'm asking,
No
because
such thing.
I discussed that. I've studied all the philosophies of the liberal white, the conservative white, the moderate white, and that both sides is in battle to get as many moderate whites to their side, because the white population is split just about fair and fair, and they're in a battle for whatever we call that white moderate. Do you think we as a people can do anything, because we're not gonna win the conservative vote, but do you think, what is it that we're doing wrong in offending our white moderates, because we can do nothing of ourselves without the white moderates?
See,
I'll say this: if you are in a time where you see Nazis in the White House, David Duke telling Donald Trump, "Remember who put you here." That's an actual quote, by the way. And you're still in a moral quagmire. Say like, I wish we could all come together. If you don't see that something's wrong with that, then your thing is you're not moderate. You're just afraid to think what you want to think. Because if you are legitimizing that opinion, that like that's an opinion, like white supremacy is a legitimate opinion, then you've already told me enough about yourself. You've already told me that you think that you kind of believe that, but you just don't want to.
See,
So there's no such thing as a moderate white. There's no such thing.
And that was the point that I see. My whole thing is this. I think we as black people in general got to stop worrying about what the fuck white people are doing.
Well, what about the whites that's with us?
I think the whites that with us, we can't offend them.
We offend them by being offensive with terms such as what we use.
But see, my thing is this.
No, because I've
Which
met.
has worked in years past, but I just don't think it works today. I think it's becoming more and more offensive to them, and that's how we're running them from on our side to the side of the conservatives. But thank God for Trump, because thank God for Trump, because if it wasn't for Trump, we was doing such a poor job. We ran all of our people that was helping us over to the other side because of all the offensive and sick stuff we were over here doing.
But see, I guess my whole thing is this, and I'll use hip hop as a prime example of this, right?
Yes.
So in hip hop, there used to be taboo for white, even though you can go through and find white artists throughout the history of hip hop. You had Third Base, the Beastie Boys, Vanilla Ice, even long before Eminem got there, right? But Eminem came in and he did something that no one else did. He was popular. And he made hip hop relatable to the suburban people. And because black people got this thing where we can't ever just be selfish with our shit. We gotta share. So Eminem said in 2002 or 2003, here's a concept to the new Elvis, to do black music so selfishly and use it to get myself wealthy. Here's a concept that works. 20 million other white rappers emerge. He said that 16, 15 years ago. You look around, you see all these white rappers around, right? But what are these white rappers doing? Are they paying homage to our shit? No. They paying homage to hip hop? No. Are they out here putting black people on? No. Are they out here speaking on black issues? No. They came in, used our culture, get famous, and don't give a shit about us. So to me, that says we got to stop giving a flying fuck about them, because all they gonna do, the people that are here that are with us, they gonna be with us regardless. We got a homeboy that's in our group chat. Shout out to Joe Code. Joe Code is about it. I feel comfortable.
I think it's like, because that's the point I was about to make. With
the people who about it, we don't have.
I call it allyship, because
But our upward mobile blacks aren't gonna get there they're not gonna support the movement if you don't have white involvement. It's like the involvement of whites validates any black movement.
And that's the problem.
But
the problem is and I've grown to this position where that's not my job anymore. That's like, it's not my job to educate a white person on something they should already know.
No, not white. Just discussing it in general.
Well, yeah, it's not like, that's why, like, I hate when, like, strategists are saying, like, how can we convince white people or just people who don't get it to get it? Like, that's not my position anymore.
And we can't
like,
worry
basically,
about it.
I have to get the people who are like, who are suffering, who agree what I agree with, but who are suffering because they don't have the outlets or the resources to, engage with that. I have to support them, because you really can't reach those people. Like, they're like, in their indecision, they pretty much have their mind made up.
Exactly.
When there are two extremes,
riding the fence is a decision.
right? When there are two extremes and you haven't made your mind up yet, like, that's a decision. Indecision is very much a decision.
And that's my whole thing, is like, when you said the upwardly mobile blacks, fuck them too. Because we have to get to the point where we can't be waiting on the mythical savior to come in and buy up these businesses and do the right thing. We can't wait on that. We have to take what we can get and put the team together. We like a Division III college at this point. We ain't getting no 5-star recruits. We got to take every ounce of money that we can get, and we got to put it together and say, like, he and I have talked about this on several occasions. We're both into coding and computing and all. So one of the things we want to do is we want to put together a coding boot camp. We ain't waiting for no wealthy benefactor to come through and do it. We're learning how to do it on our own. So we can come in and say, hey, kids, let me teach y'all this skill that's going to help y'all. You and I have discussed taking kids and showing them how to run a business and exposing them to different professions and mediums and showing them, like, hey, we might want to do this, we can't wait on nobody to come in. So if the wealthy black is saying, oh, I can't lose my white audience to help y'all, then fuck them.
Because you asked us a question last time, you were like, there are some people who they don't want to say anything in public, and And my answer to that was, well, they don't want to shake the table. They want everything to remain calm. But we're now in the times where that's not, that's not logical anymore. Like I said, things are so extreme that you have to because for too long we have gone along with everything's okay. Like that's a lie we told ourselves. Everything's okay. That's all.
We'll make do. We'll make do with the chitlins.
Yeah, that's.
We'll make do with the chitlins. That's basically what we've been telling ourselves. It's cool. We'll take these chitlins. We'll take these pig intestines and we'll turn them into chitlins and we'll make it something good and we'll be fine. But at a certain point, you gotta want better and you gotta stop waiting on someone to give you better and you gotta say, I'm gonna go figure out how to do what's better for me. And that's the point where we have to get to. We gotta take those that are the people who want to move to the Hoovers of the world. Let them move to the Hoovers of the world. Those of us that stay behind, we got to figure out how to take what's here, find these skill sets and refine them. Because the one thing that I've learned in my lifetime is everybody's a genius in their own way.
Yeah.
There are physical geniuses. There are people that are geniuses with their hands. There are people that are geniuses with their minds. There are people that are geniuses interpersonally. We got to take those skills, figure out who can do what, and we got to figure out ways to put them together, and we got to start doing this shit on our own. Because the people ain't finna do it for us. So, for me personally, whenever I decide to buy a house, I'm not going to go buy, or whenever I decide to buy a big house, I'm not going to go buy a big house in an established neighborhood. I'm going to find some land around some black people, or I'll buy a cheap house, knock it down, and I'll build it myself. And I'm going to live around people, and I'm going to use my influence and continue to exert that in my community. Because we can't keep on hoping that the talented 10th going to come back. Because the talented 10th, and I hate the talented 10th. I hate the talented 10th.
I've always hated that too.
But
I think the
proverbial.
talented 10th is disconnected.
Right, proverbial. Because you think about what it is that we do. The talented 10th don't want their kids to go to these poor performing schools. So they put them in the Hoover schools of the world.
Because here's the thing with talented 10th.
If everybody's a genius, the talented 10th is bullshit.
I'll give you an example. Basically, Rosa Parks and Claudette Colvin. They decided Claudette Colvin wasn't the perfect, activist. So they was like, let's present you with a and that's turning so many people away because when how can you convince somebody to vote when they think they don't amount to anything, when they think they're not a major contributor to society? How can you convince them to be active, to take action? When you say okay, step back and let me lead. No, it takes every little person doing one just small action, and then when those actions compile, you have one big movement. So you can't say okay, step back and let me do this because I'm smarter, I'm richer, I'm this, I'm that.
I'm more good looking.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm more appealing.
So cause I always speak on the no matter what movement, Me Too, race, I always speak on the imperfect activist because you have to have somebody who is okay, I went through it. Maybe I didn't believe this at first, but I have come around, and now you have to let them. Because thing is, you can have you can have your leaders, but who are gonna follow the leaders? Who are gonna support the leaders, and you have to mobilize those people. So as far as you as long as you're saying okay, there's the idea of a talented 10th, a small percentage of us leading everybody else. I've always hated that.
But I use that analogy to say those who make it, the people that quote unquote make it.
Yeah.
The people who get that close to 6-figure job and are able to afford to move to the suburbs. What is the first thing they do when they get money? They leave. They run to the suburbs. They run out there because that's where the quote-unquote good school system is. That's what they've been trained to believe, the good school system. They run out to the good school system. Now, realizing by virtue of them being there, the house that they buying ain't going to be as valuable when other people start moving out. I tell the story all the time of Trotwood, Ohio, where I grew up. My mom grew up. Trotwood, Ohio was predominantly white. I went to school in Trotwood, Ohio. The only reason we could afford to go to school in Trotwood, Ohio, because my mom was a single mother of 3, was because they built a bunch of low-income apartments there. That started happening around when, this is why I don't like Kirk Herbstreet, when Kirk Herbstreet's family was in Trotwood. Kirk Herbstreet's family saw black people moving in, and they moved to Centerville, which was lily white at the time. When I grew up, you couldn't drive through Centerville if you were black. My nieces live in Centerville right now. That goes to say. So the cycle is. Hold on. So let me finish this out. So Trotwood right now, they've taken everything out of Trotwood. There isn't even a Walmart in Trotwood right now. That's how bad it is. The houses that were 6-figure houses when we lived in Trotwood are about to be sold off to developers, and Trotwood gonna be lily white again. So from my mom growing up to where Trotwood was predominantly white to probably 5 years from now, you're talking about 40 years. It will have gone from predominantly white to predominantly black to nothing to predominantly white again. And that is why good schools are a myth, and that is why we gotta stop thinking moving to the suburbs are going to change our problems. Because when we leave, those of us that make money and have influence, that know shit, we are leaving those behind who don't know anything, who we could help, who we could keep and sustain that community for a little while longer. Or at least tell them, hey, go run grab that house so we can make a quick come up off of this because the developers is going to come.
Brief moment of liberty. I know why you're a Michigan fan now. No, Ohio State fan.
No. That's not why I actually found that out. I was already a Michigan fan in high school. I found this out my senior year.
Oh, okay.
One of my history teachers, Mr. Haupt, shout out to Mr. Haupt. Mr. Haupt always stated he could not stand the Herb Street family because the Herb Street family took their money and left when the first black people started going to Trotwood High School. His family left when black people started going there because his family didn't want to be around black people. That's why he was Herb Street. Go ahead.
Can I say something about that?
What you doing, Dad?
I share a lot of investment knowledge with people, and I tell them all the time. The history and origin of that really, I mean, it stems in racism, but it's a financial one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that has wisdom, that understands the negative equity that's up on the African American community as a whole, understands that when they move in with that negative equity, a community can only consume a single-digit percentage of their presence before they lose their 10% of their total gains. So whatever they gain, if that community gets more than single-digit black, they're going to lose at least 10% of their gain. So it's always wise in the lending institutions of who's the problem, the valuing of this negative, just this whole thing with us. Is it an issue that's ours? Is it something we developed into? Or is it something that was placed upon us intentionally by design?
It's
a
a system that we were thrown into that we kind of have no control over. Because think about like the baby boomers when everybody returned from the war, and it was incentivized that you got a house and you went to college for free. They built neighborhoods based off like, okay, I just returned from the war. And they built these houses, and all of a sudden, Jimmy Johnson and his family, the black family, moved in across the street. Then there's another black family. They moved out. Then that neighborhood becomes predominantly black. All of a sudden, now it's a crime-ridden, poor neighborhood, and then they wait for it to the value to absolutely drop, and then they come in and buy it again. That's what happens. So, like I say, it's a system that we were kind of thrown into that we kind of have no control over.
And that's why I say we're playing basketball with football rules. We're trying to do. We got to understand the refs ain't finna call the game. This would be like dropping the 80s Pistons against the Warriors of today. They would lose miserably because they would be trying to foul Steph. They would be you can't do that. The rules ain't the same for you as it is for them. So you got to know what the rules are, and you got to find your way around that. You got to understand that you can't go do what they do because the game's being called differently for them. And that is my beef with people is we keep trying to play the game like them. It's like, no, we can't do what they do. It's gonna work for a few of y'all every once in a while just so they can show you. See, it ain't all of y'all. See, look at him. Look, that's like I always say, Barack Obama becoming president was one of the worst things that happened for race relations because they just say, look, you got a black president. We had to have.
I voted for him twice.
No. And I'm not right. I'm not talking about him. I'm saying, and I used to tell white people it took the best black dude we had ever produced to be the dude that graduated third from the bottom of his class in the presidential election. And you want to tell me that's equality? Daquan ain't in the White House. It was the dude who was president of the Harvard Law Review that got into the White House. Up against the dude who graduated third from the bottom of his class at the Naval Academy. That's the dude that he had to beat to become the first black president. So don't tell me about equality. Don't tell me about equality because the average black
That's
person
like Chris Rock. That's like Chris Rock said. He don't stay next door to the celebrities.
He stays next door to a dentist. Not the world's best dentist, a dentist. He's one of the greatest comedians of all time, and he lives in the same neighborhood as a run-of-the-mill California dentist. So don't tell me that it's the same. So that to me is my beef with folks, is we got to stop acting like the system is created the same. It's not created for us. So you got to game the system. So you got to learn the system's rules. You got to know who the system is catered to. And then you got to turn around and flip it and figure out, okay, how can we do this for ourselves? Like, I saw some people earlier, and we'll touch on this in the next segment regarding Kevin Hart. People talking about, man, like, Dave Chappelle was right, man. The gay people done jump black people in terms of, Oh, yeah. So they talked about how the gay people have jumped black people in the different Olympics. I don't know the actual term, but so, and I thought to myself as I read that, no, the gays didn't jump us. The gays just organized better. Gays have a mental segregation. If you mess with one of them, you mess with all of them. We don't have that problem. They know they can mess with one of us or a few of us, and you still gonna have the sheep that run by and still buy everything and do. So we don't have that same where if you mess with Ronnie, you mess with everybody.
Right.
Everybody black don't run to everybody black.
Here's the thing. I always say this all the time. Like, white supremacy isn't held by one race or
it's held by everybody.
Yeah, it's held by everybody. You have a lot of black people who are like, because I mean, there's a Twitter. I'm not even gonna say the name, but there's a Twitter account we always talk about, and that guy is the most self-hating black person ever. Like,
bro,
no. But that's what I'm saying.
I wasn't about to say his name, but like that's my thing. Is like people have to understand that white people don't stick together. The system was just made to where they don't have to do it. They unconsciously uphold it because they would have to consciously ruin the system in order for the system to be undone. And that's why the system will never be undone. Because they have to consciously undo it to undo it.
There was one time the system was undone for them. And they did something about it. And that's how we can get to the bottom of a lot of things, which goes to show how government will come in to help you and put you back where you need to be. After the South lost the Civil War,
Reconstruction.
And whites didn't know how to work because they didn't have to work. Blacks were escalating. They were increasing at an increasing rate in everything in the South. Whites were sitting on the sideline looking at them, complaining. Blacks are taking over. If it's not for the compromise of 1877, where they turned things back over to the South in their control, we would be running the South now in a great portion of this nation.
Which Aaron Magruder is about to make a series.
But America the corporation stepped in to rescue their whites because they felt that it was unfair toward people that looked like them for them to stand idly by and let people of another kind run what should be running, and it put them at a disadvantage, just as it did during the colonial times when they made a race issue instead of letting it continue to be an issue of the haves and have-nots.
Right.
That's what it would have become. And so they have to keep it as a race issue so we won't focus on the haves and have-nots.
And I'll say this to end off on this segment. Guy I went to high school with, his name is Preston Mitchell. Preston is a lawyer, and he has his legal master's degree to tell you how smart he is. He has his JD, and then he has the master's degree version of his JD just to show you how smart he is. So one thing he likes to say is the problem with when segregation was ended, people thought the problem with segregation was the separate part. It was separate but equal. The problem wasn't the separate. It was the equal.
It was the equal part.
So if you want to talk,
we didn't care about the separate.
Right.
There's
black wealth. Overall, the black community has declined since segregation happened, and there's a reason behind that. But that's all I'll say behind that, because I don't want no conspiracy theorists and weirdos popping up in this video. That's all I'm gonna say behind that. But shout out to Preston, who always says the problem with separate but equal wasn't the separate part; it was the other part, because black wealth and everything else has declined ever since then. So,
well, that wrapped it up perfectly. So
yeah.
I don't have to say anything.
So we'll just leave it at that and go on to our pop culture. Yeah.
Politics as usual.